Welcome to WHHI-TV's Daily News. It's another beautiful day in the Lowcountry. I'm Betsy McDaniel, and here are today's headlines. In Governor McMaster's first public comments since the Texas school shootings last week, he said his office is reviewing policies and ideas that could help curb gun violence. He gave no specifics, but McMaster has said in the past that he expresses support for strengthening punishments for those who illegally possess guns. He would also like to see more school resource officers and mental health counselors in schools. He is not, however, a proponent of red flag laws. That law could make it possible with a court order to take guns away from people if they are believed to be a threat. It is already illegal for anyone who is determined to be mentally incompetent to possess a firearm, and police officers or a prosecutor can ask a circuit court judge to take away weapons from those with domestic violence or violent felony convictions. Democratic opponent Joe Cunningham has come out in favor of raising the age to buy a rifle in the state from 18 to 21. On July 15th, the nationally mandated 988 suicide prevention hotline is required to be up and running in all 50 states, whether they are ready for it or not. And there is definitely some question as to whether South Carolina is ready. So far, South Carolina lawmakers have only approved a budget of $1.3 million of an estimated $5.5 million needed to fund the hotline. The folks who run that hotline say they expect an increase of anywhere from 4 to 10 times more calls than they get now. But with limited staff and the small budget, they fear they will only get to answer about 10% of those calls. Maybe time for the legislature to revisit the issue in their special session later this month. As we told you earlier in the week, shrimp season began on June 1st, but so did another season, and that is, of course, hurricane season. And this year, forecasters are predicting a season with above average activity. The list of possible names for this year's storms include Alex, Bonnie, Earl, and Tobias, but more important than knowing those names is knowing you and your family are prepared. It's time to create an evacuation plan that includes your pets, build an emergency kit, assemble disaster supplies, get a checkup on your homeowner's insurance, and have a way to stay informed. Both the town of Hilton Head and the town of Bluffton have resources on their website at hiltonheadislandsc.gov and townofbluffton.sc.gov, respectively. Also beginning this week, the town of Hilton Head's arborist will perform site maintenance on the town-owned parcel adjacent to Shelter Cove Community Park. They will remove several hazardous dead and fallen trees from the wooded area on the site. The work will give healthy specimen trees the best conditions in which to thrive and will highlight a significant environmental feature for future park expansion. Work is expected to be completed by the middle of this month. And Lowcountry friends and neighbors raised more than $130,000 for Ukrainian relief efforts at the HH for Ukraine concert on Hilton Head about 10 days ago. The concert was put together in only 7 weeks and brought together a diverse group of volunteers. More than 1,000 people showed up despite threatening weather to see performances by the Hilton Head Symphony, Hilton Head Dance Theater, Mary Green Chorale, and others, also while hearing stories from local residents of families and friends in the war zone. Donations can still be made through the end of the month at hh4ukraine.com. The money will go to Doctors Without Borders and the World Central Kitchen. The media sources on your screen will have more on these and other stories, and we would love for you to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you have an idea for a news story, we'd love to hear it, so drop us a line at news@WHHITV.com. Now let's take a look at the weather with Maria Soden.
Thanks, Betsy. All right, let's take a look at the weather for this weekend. So it looks like Saturday, there's a high chance of thunder showers throughout the day in all 3 regions. Hilton Head's going to have a high of 81, a low of 74. Bluffton's going to have a high of 83 and a low of 72. And Beaufort's going to have a high of 84 and a low of 72. Taking a look at Sunday, there's a chance of thunder showers again throughout the day. Hilton Head's going to have a high of 82, a low of 71. Bluffton's going to have a high of 85, a low of 69. And Beaufort's going to have a high of 87 and a low of 69. The sunrise for this weekend is going to be at 6:16 and sunset's going to be at 8:25. Taking a look at the beach tides, Saturday high tide's going to be at 1:15 p.m. and low tide's going to be at 8:38 p.m. And then on Sunday, high tide's going to be at 2:04 p.m. and low tide's going to be at 9:30 p.m. Taking a look into next week, Monday it's going to rain, chance of thunder showers throughout the day, highs in the 80s, lows in the 70s. Tuesday there's going to be a chance of thunder showers as well, with highs in the 80s and lows in the 70s. And then come Wednesday it's going to be partly cloudy with highs in the 90s and lows in the 70s. That's it for today. Let's head it back to the desk.
Thanks, Maria. We've got a lot more to come, so don't go away.